We know it's a lie. Checked twice, verified. You either have to believe gross incompetence or that it is a lie. And maybe the reason that you're saying this is journalism and they just made it is because you're involved. Hopefully, I've made this clear. I think I have, but the left really wants you to, they really want a scapegoat for the mistrust in institutions. And rather than being the institutions themselves, whether it's the FBI, the CIA, the DOJ, Department of Education, take your pick, they make it you. They make it you. Why don't these institutions are fundamental to the United States of America? I would argue that more fundamental would be the First Amendment, freedom of speech, the Second Amendment, that these institutions have trampled. Christopher Wray doesn't exist in a vacuum, which brings us to Pete Hegseth and the West Point scandal. For people who don't know, there's been a smear campaign on this guy. Now, I can't tell you that I know what's true and what is not true. I will tell you that I don't believe it. Let me tell you why. When they tried to come out with these sexual assault claims, there was no evidence. There were no charges brought. They were trotted out recently. It doesn't even seem like it's possible if you read the story. And so then they start scraping the bottom of the barrel with things that can't be proven. So we'll get to West Point lying and journalists basically engaging in journalistic malpractice. But some of the smears now have gone to, actually, even though you see him early morning every single day, Pete Hegseth, he's ineligible because he has a huge drinking problem.
Hegseth is having to assure senators, as Julie just said, that he won't drink when he becomes defense secretary. That's sort of remarkable that you have to make a promise like that. What's your gut sense here? Do you think he'll actually get through with promises like that?
Well, I think that it's a very interesting term, but it also showcases how important he sees that drinking problem happens to be to a lot of the people who are going to be taking him under consideration, up to and including President Trump. Looking at that, I think that him going out on a limb and saying that he's not going to drink is consequentially, it should be something that is a denier in and of itself, because as far as we know about alcoholism or people who have alcohol problems, and I've had some people in my own family who've had those issues, saying that you're not going to do something that you've been prone to do as a means to get the job, I think is a very bad place to be.
See what she does? She tries to give herself some authority. Because I knew an alcoholic. Yeah, I doubt he's down in Colt 45 before Fox and Friends, sweetheart. Let's be really clear. Oh, why's it got to be Colt 45? Okay, Mickey's. Shut up. I don't care anymore.
Whatever 40 you choose, go for it.
And what's the definition of an alcoholic?
Well, this is the issue, right? The left did this where everyone is a narcissist. If you're successful, you're a narcissist. If you actually have low self-esteem, you're a narcissist. If you drink regularly, but you don't ever binge drink, you're an alcoholic. If you drink occasionally and then you drink too much, you're an alcoholic. If you drink alcohol, you're an alcoholic. So they just broaden the definition.
Right.
Everything is abuse. Everything is, insert whatever today, narcissism. Everything is a red flag. Everyone who drinks is an alcoholic, but wake and bake, right? That's the issue right now.
It's totally fine.
Completely fine.
But look, this is their playbook every single time, right? We went back to Kavanaugh, and you just trot out the sexual assault charges, right? You just go, he sexually assaulted somebody. When that didn't really stick with Hegseth, they're like, well, he's an alcoholic, according to unnamed sources that he worked with. Only every person that I've seen come out that he worked with said, actually, I was sitting next to him in the chair for 8 hours a day, and he was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And you know what? There are a lot of parallels between Kavanaugh. Remember, Mission Control, bring up that clip. We'll play it on Rumble Premium after where I think was Cory Booker asking, or someone asked him, do you drink beer on weekdays? That's how you know it's a smear. Hey, you know who else occasionally drinks beer on weekdays? And by occasionally, I mean regularly.
There you go. Why you got to rat me out, bro?
This is the pearl clutching. Yeah, you know, I get it. I'm not part of a power couple who shot my brother for stealing my ring while dealing crack cocaine and stabbed the record executive and groomed a 16-year-old. But I did have a refreshing Belgian triple on Wednesday. So lock me up.
Have you ever taken one of those questionnaires that determine whether you're an alcoholic or not?
Yeah.
I have. It's like all the questions set up to make you an alcoholic so they can give you treatment. It's like, do you ever drink on the weekends?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's the weekend sometimes. Do you ever drink on a Sunday? Well, yeah, I like football. I drink do you ever drink in public? Well, yeah, sometimes I go to a football game and I drink do you ever drink at home? Well, yeah, sometimes I watch football at home. Do you ever drink by yourself? Yeah, sometimes I'm watching the game alone.
Yeah.
Do you ever pee in public?
Here's what you
sometimes they're 15
questions later, I'm an alcoholic.
And if you don't drink, by the way, don't start drinking. I'm not saying there's any health reason to drink, but it's become this sort of boogeyman du jour now, where it's designed to be weaponized, like we see with the DOJ. It's designed to make you feel lesser than if you enjoy a cold beer. They did it with Kavanaugh, and similar with Kavanaugh. As I get into this story with West Point and I think it's ProPublica.
Yeah.
Thank God Hegseth kept his acceptance letter from West Point, just like we thank God that Brett Kavanaugh kept a journal that could be verified, right? So
we have the beer clip if you want it too. So
okay, you know what? Here's how. Yeah, let's play this right now because here's how you know it's a smear. Hold on a second. I thought we were sitting down to talk about me gang raping a woman. Oh, we're asking if I have a Heineken on a Tuesday? That's how you know it doesn't matter what you do. They're going to try and make something up. Here's the clip of Brett Kavanaugh being asked if he drank beer on weekdays.
You drank on weekdays, yes or no, sir?
In the summer, when we went over to Timmy's house on July 1st, that would indicate yes.
Yes, in other words, that July 1st reference to skis, went over for skis, that's brewskis, correct?
And after Tobin...
Sir, I just need a yes or no. That brewskis, right?
Well, I need to explain in context.
You just said, sir, that you drank on weekdays. That's all I was looking for.
Well,
the only mistake Kavanaugh made is I need to explain in context. No, you don't. Hey, yeah, because you and a bunch of your buddies here in Capitol, you're going to go to Old Abbott's Grill and have a 2-cocktail lunch. So, exactly. I have a beer or two when I get home.
Kamala Harris pretend to crack a beer on Colbert on a Wednesday or something?
Yeah, exactly.
And she drank it live on TV. By the way, look, if we tell politicians they can't drink their way through their service to the country, a war's going to break out, okay?
They sell alcohol in the commissary, and they can purchase it through tax dollars.
They found cocaine in the White House.
I know.
Yeah.
But they didn't find Miller Lite.
Bill Clinton raped a woman.
She wasn't drinking, and neither was he, Stephen. That's the point.
No, it was a cigar.
Yeah, well, he also just dropped his pants with someone who was not even willing. And it's like, we're talking about beer. That's how you know it's a smear campaign. Right? There was no rape. Okay. Well, then was it sexual assault? Okay, there's no sexual assault. Did he make an inappropriate joke on a video game chat? Then that gets equated with, what Jay-Z may have allegedly done. So let's go through the timeline here with this story, and it tells you why you absolutely should not trust. You absolutely should be skeptical of your institutions, because this combines, undoubtedly, I'm sure people in intelligence, but people in the military, pencil pushers, not the people on the ground. Big difference, delineation here between the people who want to join West Point, people like Hegseth, and the people in charge of acceptance, and the people who say we're going to make DEI one of our requirements, right? Do you guys understand? You can comment below. You understand that difference, right? Because I don't want people to come in and say, well, you should support you have some of those simplistic slogans where it's like, support our troops no matter what. The person lying about acceptance at West Point does not qualify. Timeline, 7:12 a.m., okay? Hegseth posted this on his X. He said, we understand that ProPublica, the left-wing hack group, is planning to publish a knowingly false report that I was not accepted to West Point in 1999. Here's my letter of acceptance signed by West Point Superintendent Lieutenant General Daniel Christman, U.S. Army. So then at 9:10 a.m., and this is the thing too, trust your institutions. Do you ever trust anyone in your personal life who doesn't flat out apologize when they get something wrong? There's a reason that we provide references for you here, and we have an admonish button for ourselves when we get things wrong. We can never be perfect. We don't know how we can do it more honestly than that. We're trying. Do you trust a relative or a friend who always tries to place the blame back on you, back on someone else, while accusing you of being a narcissist or manipulator? That's what the left does. So 9:10 a.m., the ProPublica writer Jesse Eisinger responded saying, Hegseth has said that he got into West Point but didn't attend. We asked West Point Public Affairs, which told us twice on the record that he hadn't even applied there. Twice on the record. We reached out. Hegseth's Spox gave us his acceptance letter. We didn't publish a story. That's journalism. No, that's called getting caught. Journalism would be revealing or doing your job with the person who did engage in malpractice. In other words, if you have nothing to do with it, you should point him out. This person was, we know it's a lie. Check twice, verified. You either have to believe gross incompetence or that it is a lie. And maybe the reason that you're saying this is journalism and they just made it is because you're involved. You're involved, so you can't rat someone out because you're ratting yourself out. And I'll tell you my heart, because Donald Trump we've been the victim of this, where you know what, you often don't hear the side of other people. They just move on. The people who move on and do good work, they don't get engaged. They don't engage with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's the succubi who decide that they want to deal with internet drama.
Suck you bitch.
Well, speaking of which, perfect segue. Better than the guy who invented the Segway, who segued off a cliff. Poor son of a bitch.
We wish this guy would.
Keith Olberman.
On accident.
Figuratively.
Of course.
Keith Olberman replied to Hegseth saying, The left-wing group that incorrectly said you didn't get accepted at West Point was West Point, you PTSD fascist liar. I don't know if at this point he knows that it's a lie. And he's still accusing him of being a... By the way, aren't we not supposed to... What happened to not weaponizing mental health? We need to remove the stigma of mental health. But you're stigmatizing a guy who actually, by the way, has seen the kind of things that may result in PTSD. In other words, it's not someone going, I had PTSD because I didn't get accepted to my safety brown. No, this is someone who likely has had friends die, likely has been in scenarios that would change your outlook, your perception of the world forever. There's a legitimate claim to PTSD. It's over-diagnosed now, so we're weaponizing PTSD against a hero, calling him a fascist liar, when we know for a fact that West Point lied. Maybe he didn't know. Oh, wait. He continued, Keith Olberman.
The compassionate Keith Olberman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're calling the U.S. Military Academy at West Point liars? Why do you hate the troops? Oh, that's right. You have no principles, so it's about authority. Institutions.
Authority.
Really?
Well, to be clear,
there you go.
Hey.
So Olberman likes the military, just not the ones with PTSD.
Right, exactly.
So he likes the ones that haven't gone to do anything. Okay, it's hard to discern.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's the people in the offices. You're a pussy.
I like to fight him.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Hey, yeah, that's something a fascist PTSD liar would say.
Yeah, and we can make lots of money on it.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. This is why don't you trust your institutions? Well, one of the reasons is because Keith Olberman says to trust them. In this case, you have an institution, at least one that we know of. Well, two. You have the military institution and you have journalists, right? You have the institution of journalism. Lying, that's one side. And you would have had big tech there, just like with the Hunter Biden laptop story, if you didn't have all of this versus one man, Pete Hegseth, who might enjoy beer on weekdays, but he had the receipts. What kind of a world do you think you live in if he didn't keep a 30-year-old acceptance letter? Hey, he loses a job, and you lose someone who you want at that post. 1:29 p.m., West Point did acknowledge to the Washington Examiner that Hegseth had been accepted. A review of our records indicates, this must have been the third review, right? Third review?
Well, they were looking for Pete before they found Peter.
Yes, exactly.
The common
A review of our records.
I got it.
You believe they got it wrong the first two times? Or do you think they got caught? Genuinely, comment below. I am attributing motive in this case.
Yeah.
Because if not, then guess what? We need to completely gut our military and build from the ground up because they are too inefficient to do anything. You think these guys are going to know how to engage in war? You think these guys are going to know how to find the next Osama bin Laden if they can't find an acceptance letter after 2 reviews?
I know.
It takes 3?
I think that I would like to see who these actual people are that are in this office, because it's likely that the administrators at the school are not, in fact, military officers or enlisted military folks.
Right. Well, here's the thing what the left does. The journalists, right? The journalistic integrity that you only see in films like Aaron Brockovich, if it has to do with tap water, is they say, I will protect my sources. So they keep those in institutions and positions of power anonymous, but then they sue us to demand that the actual investigative journalists be revealed. In other words, it would be entirely appropriate for this person to not be anonymous because they still obviously hold a position of authority in an institution, which if you want us to trust, we should fundamentally correct and improve. No. Those people remain anonymous. The people actually doing the work on the ground who require anonymity. You know, journalistic ethics. Let's finger them. Let's reveal them. Let's dox them.
Sorry.
It's a perversion of exactly... We have a way things should be in journalism. Not everything should be anonymous. And there are cases where, of course, it's required. They want to completely reverse it. So a review of our records indicates Pete Hegseth was offered admission to West Point in 1999, but did not attend. He already said that. Why do you need to include it? He said he was accepted and didn't attend. An incorrect statement involving Hegseth's admission to the U.S. Military Academy was released by an employee on December 10th, 2024. Are they fired or are they still working there?
Are they working in admissions?
Yeah.
Are they controlling who gets to get into this school?
Exactly.
And become leaders of our future military?
Listen, I know it's a high bar.
Yeah.
Keeping track of the people that we say yes to maybe is something that the Secretary of Defense should take a look at.
Let me make it really simple. They're refusing to name the employee that lied to ProPublica. Okay, here's just a first litmus test. Are they paid by American tax dollars? Did they do something wrong? They need to be named, not anonymous. If these are people who are exposing those in power, they should remain anonymous. Does that make sense? Comment below. Oh, no, sorry. what Mug Club Undercover does in exposing the COVID architect, Jay Varma, or exposing the DOJ. That's gotcha journalism. This is, according to ProPublica, journalism.
Right. And by the way, look, if there's a simple explanation, give it to us.
Give it to us.
Fantastic. Easy. People make mistakes. I get it. Antiquated systems, fine. You moved on to some other system. Okay. You didn't do anything. You just said, we're not gonna reveal the source.
That stuff comes up quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's not the antiquated system. This is a straight up a lie because this stuff, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like all the schools in the military have these things.
Yeah.
Some people call them pink slips, stuff like that. Like at Ranger School, personally, you could check if it was a Ranger. Okay, well, let's call my buddy over at the battalion.
Yeah. It's almost like it's a big deal.
They keep these records and they know where they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost like it's necessary to have a functioning military.
It is.
To know if...
It's an Ivy League school, for crying out loud. They've got the admissions records.
Yes, the hallowed halls of West Point. I don't know. How do I gotta turn on your computer?
Race!
And isn't it interesting? 2 searches, nothing. And then in just record time, once he had the receipt. Yeah, I'm attributing motive in this case. That's where I am. Yeah. This is an indictment of leadership. It's an indictment of our institutions. This is what the election was about. And you are not an extremist, and I won't, you can label me whatever you want. I will tell you I'm not an extremist in thinking that we need to disband the FBI, the CIA, and fundamentally overhaul it. And you know what? Now, let's add the desk jockeys in the military. Hey, if we start looking, maybe here is a good place to start with the $500 billion in annual fraud, vaporized money that we talked about yesterday. $500 billion gone. Well, seems to me that shouldn't some of this money go to a system that you can search like, I don't know, any other employment system ever? And here's something else, too. The people who, whose opinion should maybe matter, the soldiers who served with Hegseth, a number of them signed a letter resoundingly endorsing Hegseth. He tweeted this, update, letter from my guys now has 90 signatures. Thank you, brothers. Honored, humbled, and motivated. And you know what? This is why they want weak men. This is why the left, when I say they, bitches about patriarchy, because good men band together with other good men. And that strength that they're afraid of. They want men who hide in the nooks and crannies, who keep those in power anonymous, who obfuscate and do so under the guise of journalistic ethics. Also, funny coincidence, so one of the signatories is named George Floyd. So,
What? St. George?
Yeah.
Helping from the grave. He voted, too.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Hey, if you liked this video, you can comment or hit like. And because you and I were a lot alike. Probably like dogs. I like dogs. If you like cats, I don't want you here. I'm not making videos for cat people. I told you, if you're a cat, I don't want you here. I'm not doing it. Not doing it for cat people. Dog person, click there. Cat person,